Welcome back to URDONE.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Brendan.
Tasha.
And we have a very exciting topic for you today.
We do. You know, lots of flowers about.
Yeah, it's quite topical if you've read the...
Quite topical.
Topical. Botanicopical.
Screaming. New words that we're making today.
New words. Yeah. So today's episode, we're going to be talking about both the movie and the controversy around the film, The Last... It Ends With Us.
Oh, it's The Last.
I always want to...
It ends with us.
It ends with us. I was going to say The Last of Us, which is that zombie TV show.
Different.
Very different. It ends with us.
Definitely haven't seen that.
Featuring Blake Lively and
Justin
Baldoni.
There we go.
Who is in the Jane the Virgin.
So we're going to get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
To say about
Me
that.
too.
I was going to bring that up to you earlier, but I'm like, I'm going to wait.
So we're going to get all into that. We're going to get into the controversy. But before we do that, we're going to do a catch-up.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun.
The ketchup.
So I'll start just because my ketchup is already in the frame with us.
Okay, got it.
But over the holidays, and I've wanted these forever, is I got into Lego flowers.
Mm-hmm.
So as you'll probably see, so if you're just listening and not watching, I have made a bouquet of Lego flowers.
Thank you.
You can't keep them, but you can look at them.
Okay.
And then I also made this other one, which is a Lego orchid.
Oh, and so pretty.
Yeah, it's so pretty. And thank you to you and Angel for inspiring me with this.
Yeah, my husband, I got it for him for Christmas, that exact one. And now he's bought like 4 more in that next week.
And I totally get it. What's interesting about it is, so I have friends, not you and Angel, who...
I have friends, not you guys.
You and Angel, that have the bouquet of flowers in their bathroom. Shout out Frankie and Jenna. Love you guys. I know they listen, so they'll be appreciative of this.
Slay.
And I've been going to their house for dinner for like over a year, and every time I go to the bathroom, I see these flowers, and I wanted them.
I like them.
But they're like $80.
They're not cheap.
They're not cheap. And so it felt kind of excessive to buy them myself.
But once you have it once...
Well, so what I've been doing is just scamming my family into getting them for me. So my sister bought me the bouquet of flowers for Christmas. And then my mom, because she has a guilt about spending money on me, bought me the orchid.
Yes.
The hilarious part was that she started by buying me, there are Lego roses. And
yes, I remember. It's a big one.
Yeah, well, she
didn't have that?
No, because she sent it to me. She was like, I bought the cheaper version. Not realizing that meant off-brand Lego. Like, they're not Lego at all. Yeah, Kim. So they showed up and I was like so excited to build them.
What is this Fisher Price bullshit?
No, it's like some company in China that's like called like, I don't even know. And I was like, Mom,
Lego?
turns out Lego. Turns out these aren't real. And she was like, send them back. I will not have you having off-brand Lego. And then I convinced her to buy me the orchid instead.
Much better.
Yes. And it's ignited this thing in me about, I used to love Legos as a kid, and I haven't built something with Lego in like probably 20 years.
Yeah, but I just remember, and listen, I love it. It's beautiful. I have it at my house as well.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what happened to the days of build Lego and it can be anything?
Right.
Now all Legos have to be something.
Yeah, I think you can buy like mixed packages because that's what I had as a kid for sure.
What if you want to make a mountain or a dragon?
You could.
Or whatever in between.
You could, but and I think that there are people that do that, like builders or brickheads or something.
Brickheads.
Yeah, people that are really into Lego.
I don't know if we just like did a slur there or something.
No. They're called that for sure. That like are imaginative about it, because all this, and I'm sure Angel told you this
on your own.
No, not at all. And
Yeah.
a lot of the pieces are things that were used for other things.
Yeah.
So like,
The
for
soil
instance,
in that one
Yes.
are all little pieces from other things.
yeah, like little feet. And then like the center of the orchids are frogs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Little frogs.
That's literally in my house.
That they use as so apparently the bonsai, I think, was the first one they made. And all the leaves in the bonsai are frogs, green frogs.
What I will say, this is excellent marketing that Lego did to rebrand a little bit.
And get the adults to do it?
And get the adults.
Fully.
So clever.
I want to buy everything.
So clever.
So that's my catch up. It's not very URDONE of me, but I love it. And I'm obsessed.
Well, I love that yours is about a Christmas gift that you got, because mine is as well.
Ooh, tell me more.
So For Christmas, I don't ask for much, I don't. I actually don't. I don't. This year, all I asked for was...
Put that in the comments. You agree. Angel, you specifically.
Well, the thing is, we kind of have a competition for Christmas because that's our holiday, other than my birthday. But my birthday is just... It's
right,
me.
not Angel's birthday. That's not a holiday.
No, like it is for him, but like my birthday is 2 months because why not?
Right. August, September,
October.
What? That doesn't make sense.
Because why would I celebrate in August when my birthday hasn't come yet?
Because it's still summer.
No, but my birthday's in September. So
we're celebrating
September,
it until October.
Till Halloween.
God.
Got it.
It's actually a month and a half.
My birthday's September 19th.
It's a month and a half.
No, but September 1st, I go, it's my birthday month.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, sidebar. So,
she doesn't ask for much.
I don't ask for much for Christmas.
Just 2 months.
For Christmas. All I asked for was wine glasses.
Okay. Like the nice, like Rydell ones?
I just wanted new wine glasses because bless all those who come to my home. But every time someone comes over, a wine glass gets its wings and flies away and breaks into a million pieces. And so... yes, I did get wine glasses, both for red wine and white wine, the exact same ones from Scandal.
Sick.
Iconique.
Okay, Olivia Pope. Yeah.
Very proud. I just need to get like a bucket of popcorn and just have that.
Do you think that's all that woman ate?
I do.
I don't think I ever really saw her on the show eat anything else.
She didn't.
A big glass of red wine.
She ate knowledge.
She did.
And people up.
That show was so good.
So good. So good. But the thing that I got that I might have said this in the smallest passing. Okay. I might have been like, oh, I really would love one. Right. In the smallest passing. I didn't even know he heard me.
Oh.
But I got one of those like LED, like ultra red masks.
The red light masks. Okay.
Can I tell you? She's my new best friend.
Well, okay, but does it work? Is it real?
Listen, the one that you got too is the one from Sephora. I have a picture of myself in it. I will post it here. Yes, I liked getting, I think I've spoke about this on the podcast before, like getting facials.
Yes.
Right? And
do they do that on your facials?
Yeah. Yeah, well, because my girl, she hooks me up. I don't know about other people, but my girl hooks me up because that's a little bit extra, but she hooks me up, you know what I'm saying? But
extra for a light mask. That's crazy.
Also, there's ones that are oxygen masks that like just shoot oxygen in your face.
Okay.
That's extra.
It sounds fake.
So this one is red light, which is for like fine lines and wrinkles.
Okay.
Then there's blue light for acne and things like that.
Okay.
And then you can have red light, blue light at the same time.
Purple light.
It's got a little bit purpley, right? But like, so I make sure to do.
Why would you ever not just do both?
That's very true. But if you really want to target,
you want
something,
it stronger.
Yeah, a little stronger.
Okay.
And so like each night now, I feel like I'm like an alien.
At a spa.
Literally at a spa, but an alien like that would just like peek through the corners and just have like a light up fight, like face
How
that's just
long
glowing.
do you have to wear them for?
3 minutes.
That's it.
Yeah. You put it on and you put the thing on and then it does it and it comes off by itself in 3 minutes.
Huh.
So I have it right beside my bed before lying down. But you can't have like your skincare on yet. You have to wash your face, then you do it, then you put on your skincare.
Got it.
Right? So I have that beside my bed. But I've been loving it.
Are you finding a difference?
Honeybee, it's been like 2 weeks since Christmas. Can you give us a moment?
It should be instantaneous.
Can you give us a moment?
No.
But I feel it. And you know what they also say? Not for the blue light, because actually I close my eyes for that one because it does feel like it's straining my eyes.
Okay.
But red light apparently is good for your eyes because it doesn't strain my eyes when I have that on.
The more you know.
Bionic. Supersonic. That's
it's funny you say bionic because when I was getting into this whole Lego thing again, I had this flashback to these Lego action figures called Bionicles. They saved Lego. Bionicles
and botanicals come back to slave the day.
I like it when it's my initials. Bionicle, botanical.
Yeah, so that's my catch-up.
Love.
Red light.
We love gifts. We love gifts.
Feel free to send us.
Yeah, more gifts.
More gifts.
Okay, so now that we've caught up with you, let's get into the topic. So if you're not familiar, which maybe you haven't been, but so the movie that we're talking about, It Ends With Us, is based off of a Colleen Hoover book.
Yes.
By the same name.
Yes.
So it stars Blake Lively, for those of you who are Celebrity Blind. She is the wife of Ryan Reynolds, and she was also in Gossip Girl. That was like her big claim to fame. And the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Yeah.
That was my movie with her.
Oh.
So I didn't watch Gossip Girl, but that was my thing for sure. I also was like, how are all these pants fit on all of them? But you know what? Elastic.
We persist. We persist. And then starring across from her is Justin Baldoni. See, I can't even get it right. Which is funny because last night I was Googling it and I said to my voice control thing, look up Justin Baldoni and whatever her name is. And it knew that I meant Blake Lively.
Which is wild. Okay, let's get into the movie.
Where is Justin Baldoni from?
Okay, so why? Okay, I'll say it now, but I was going to hold it.
Okay.
Because Jane the Virgin, excellent show.
He was Raphael.
Yeah. I will tell you right now, I was always Team Michael.
Michael is the police officer?
Yes, who died.
Oh.
If you haven't seen it, honey, baby, if you haven't seen it by now, it's been out for like...
No. So I actually had to stop watching Jane the Virgin because I was getting so into it. Like I was so upset because it wasn't coming out fast enough. And then when it was like hurting my heart.
And it's not on Netflix anymore.
It's sad.
But there's a lot that happens after Michael dies.
I didn't even get what season does he even die?
I don't even recall. Well, but he died.
News alert.
But
news
lots
flash.
of things happen after because you have to remember it's a telenovela.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so a lot of things happen
lots
after.
Of things, yeah.
But like everyone was like, Team Raphael. I said, Team Michael. And look.
Well.
Maybe it is Team Michael but I do have a lot of I digress.
Interestingly, though, so Justin Baldoni hasn't been in anything, like acted in anything since Jane the Virgin. When that ended, that was in 2019.
I didn't know he hasn't been in anything.
He hasn't been in anything until this movie.
And he is the director as well.
Well, because he owns a production company called Wayfarer. So that's what he moved into doing primarily. And then I guess this book, I think this came
very popular book.
Super popular. Colleen Hoover has lots of books. I could name you one.
But I can name one.
Yeah.
It ends
with us. So the premise of the movie is basically it follows this sort of like tumultuous love story primarily around the life of Lily Blossom Bloom. Hence why the flowers are in this thing. And then her husband, eventual husband, this guy named Ryle Kincaid, played by Justin. In that is sort of a love triangle piece around her high school boyfriend, person who took her virginity, Atlas. Fair warning.
So much more than just taking her virginity. So I don't know why they made it sound like that. Like they were in love.
Yeah, they were in love. And clearly.
But they pressed on just the virginity.
Yeah, they really did. And so trigger warning for folks if you haven't seen it or if this is a thing. It does deal with domestic violence. That's actually the whole piece of it.
Yeah.
We recommend you watch the movie if you're interested, but basically it's sort of giving you the whole point of why it's called It Ends With Us is about how she eventually will have a child and the cycle of domestic violence ends with her and her child.
Yeah, that's because her mom went through it. She's been through it.
Yeah.
All these things.
So I only watched the movie because I got really involved in the scandal between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, which we'll get into. But so let's start with the movie. What did you think of the movie?
Okay, so I took a bath and watched it in the bath.
The 2.5 hour movie.
No, I watched
You were a raisin.
I watched the first 50 minutes in the bath.
Okay.
And I just hear Angel, are you okay?
Are you okay?
I look at my hands and I'm like, oh, everything's a different color. I should get out. Right? But, okay. If I also watched it due to the drama.
Yeah.
But I tried my best.
Because I texted you and was like, you need to get into this drama.
I tried my best to imagine I didn't know the drama while watching it. I tried.
Oh, see, I had the opposite problem. I couldn't.
Yeah, you
the whole time I was like, you guys hate each other.
But here's my point. Okay. I actually think, let's just take away the drama for a moment. I enjoyed the film.
The film. It wasn't a bad film.
It wasn't a bad film. Okay. It actually, I really appreciated the relationship, the high school relationship storyline. Yeah. I appreciated that, where she went and she went to Boston. I even appreciated how they first met on the roof.
Well, and especially because there was a lot of foreshadow in that moment.
There was a lot of foreshadow in that moment. And I also, now, okay, I've never been in a physically
like
abusive
domestic violence
right?
thing, yeah.
But I think we've all been into something that like someone says something and you're like, what? Right? And so I could also see that he was trying, I guess at first to not be the bad person.
Okay.
But then he turned into the bad person. And so I was really baffled by that. But then also while watching it, knowing that they hated each other during it, because I remember they had to go through intimacy coach when they did it.
Yeah. Well, they didn't initially. They didn't have one.
Let me tell you, I felt that there was chemistry.
Well, and that's the thing I was curious about.
You didn't feel it?
Yeah, there was definitely chemistry.
There was moments I was like, this is hot.
It was hot. It's because he's so hot.
He is hot, but it's still like I couldn't. I'm like, they're not that good of actors, either one of them. Sorry,
drag them
to make me be like, oh, you hate each other while you're doing this and loving on each other.
Okay, so yes, I agree. The thing that's where I wish I knew a better timeline of when some of this stuff happened. And you know how movies are not shot in order?
Of course.
That's where I'm like, I wonder at what point some of this stuff happened. Because, like, could you tell the shift?
I actually think probably it was, though it's not filmed in order, but like, obviously when she's like, you literally basically tried to rape me.
Yeah.
Is when they stopped liking each other. Because it would make sense. Because now.
Yeah.
From an acting perspective, you don't really need to act.
No, you're like, I actually just hate you.
I actually just hate you.
Yeah.
Right?
That scene was really hard to watch.
That scene was really hard to watch.
Yeah, it was really...
That's when I was like, it was really hard to watch because...
It's because it's flashing back with her mom. Like, it's
and
bad.
She kept on... She was trying to be gentle about it at first.
Yeah, because
And she was like, just stop. And he's not drunk.
Yeah.
So you can't say that he was inebriated.
No.
Like, he's just not listening to her.
Yeah, intimate partner violence like that is, like, I think some of the scariest because it's like you care about the person. Like, yeah. And then they're doing this thing and you're, like, trying to... So...
But then he bit exactly where the tattoo was. So that
crazy.
It was very specific.
Yeah, she has this heart tattoo that's basically dedicated to Atlas, her first love.
But Atlas carved it for her out of the tree.
Right, but then she got it tattooed.
Then she got it tattooed, yeah.
So I got confused when they said carved. They kept saying carved. I was like, did he carve it into you?
No, honey.
I was like, okay,
he carved
you're
the wood
into some
that she
freaky
had.
shit.
But what I love too, okay, not that this has happened to me, but like she recognized, you could always tell like the young version of her was like, I'm a compassionate person. Mm-hmm. And when she tells this story about why she likes flowers, because they have a shelf life but they still have beauty when they die kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And seeing this kid who's essentially homeless, bringing him food, seeing him being picked on in the bus, but being like, I don't give a shit what anyone says. Like, I'm going to be a human to you.
Yeah.
Was really kind. And at the end, oh my Lord, there's a couple lines that had me.
You liked that? I did not like how that ended.
There's a couple lines that had me. You want to know the couple lines that had me?
Please.
Oh, I might not say it exactly, but when he was
You should have written it down.
No, because I'm authentically real, right? When he said, if you ever happen to fall in love again, I hope it will be with me.
Yeah, it was like he was like, don't waste a chance and just fall in love with me again or something. Yeah, that was good.
Love that. Love that. And at the end, when he told her the story that he was going to kill himself, and then
she saved him.
And then all he did is see her in the window and was like, there's a reason, there's still beauty around. Why would I do this? And the next day she brings you food and changed your life. And then you opened a restaurant where you said you love food in Boston. And just so happens now she lives in Boston.
Well, but she, I think, essentially followed him there.
Exactly. That's my point.
Yeah,
I don't think she followed him, but she followed because he said all good things are in Boston.
Yeah, which is not really true.
Screaming.
If you've ever been.
If we have any Boston listeners.
We love you.
We love you.
But it's like that Renee Rapp song, which is like, Boston, I hate you.
Exactly. Right? And so I loved, and I also appreciated that they didn't get together right after.
Or really ever. No,
it looks like her daughter was like maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah. It was years.
Yeah, it was years later. And so I thought that was beautiful. But the best scene, bar none, okay? When she had the baby and they're hugging and he is like, should be together.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I want a divorce. And he's basically asking her, like, please don't. And then while he's holding his daughter, you're holding your daughter. And she says, essentially, if this had happened to your daughter and your daughter told you that her boyfriend hit you or hit her. Or threw her down the stairs or did like try to attack her, what would you say?
So for context, if you haven't seen it, so basically all those things happen. Then she gives birth, they're divorced, or they're like separated.
The first one, when he was taking out, I'm like, I could see that happening as an accident.
Well, so what I really liked about we'll go to that, but to your point about this thing, I actually wrote that same thing down about that moment where he's holding his like baby girl for the first time, and she starts being like, and she can see the love in his eyes, and she's like, what was it?
Because
she
he's
says,
even thinking,
I want a
maybe
divorce.
I could change. He's like, oh, at first I thought she was thinking maybe he can change. And I'm like, don't do it.
They're having a very gentle moment where he's holding the baby for the first time. She seems to have forgiven him. She's literally like has her hand on the back of his neck, like rubbing him.
Playing with his hair like this.
And then she goes, I want a divorce. And he's holding the baby. And then he's like, what do you mean? She's like, no. And then she like recounts the incidents of violence of abuse that he's done to her. So I wrote down, recounting the incidents while he's holding the baby is insane.
It was insane.
Because at the same time, I was like, are you a little afraid? He seems to have an anger management issue.
No, but
he's holding a baby.
He's not going to throw the baby. I think it was so much more powerful with the baby in his hands.
Of course, because
then
like,
he could really like this is what I did.
Somebody did this to your baby girl.
Yeah,
that's.
But I think
it was very.
There's no apologizing for anyone that does violence to someone else. But then when you hear about like what happened to his brother, and then he accidentally killed his brother.
It's like trauma.
It's just like he's never gotten out of that trauma. And you know who's one of the best characters? His sister. Because in some cases, when she said, you know, as his sister, I'd want you guys to try to make it work. But as your best friend, I don't ever want you to see him again.
I would never speak to you again if you got back together.
I would never speak to you again.
Yeah.
And I said, that's right.
Yeah, and I love her. I love that actress, Jenny Slate.
I don't even know who that is, but I loved her.
She also does the voice of, did you ever watch Marcel the Shell?
No.
Oh, okay, whatever. I have a little figurine. That's that little figurine.
That's what that is?
She's the voice of that. She's in lots of things, but I love her. Okay, so to go back, so you just heard the most important scene in the movie. But so one of the things I found really interesting, and so I came into the movie expecting very little, to be honest, because I was like, these two people are not that great. The way this drama is going over, I'm like, really over this movie? So they tell the story of Lily and Ryle's like love story. Basically, they meet on the roof, and then they don't fall in love right away. He pursues her. And they do a pretty good job of basically demonstrating that he's quite aggressive.
Right.
Like
the first scene, he literally kicks a chair.
Yeah, but even like the way he pursues her is very aggressive. And it almost gives you this like, what I thought the framing was done really well is that I think if you're a bit of a romantic or whatever, it's sort of exciting to have somebody pursue you. It had
a fine line between aggressive and like hot.
Yeah. And I thought they did a really good job about that.
Like, oh, he's being hot.
Yeah, it's hot. It's hot that he's like almost not taking no for an answer.
Exactly. Like he was like, I want you.
And that's why when it builds into the point where he is essentially assaulting her, like going to grape her, he doesn't, but almost does. You can see how it basically like she's sort of you give it a pass, you give it a pass, you give it a pass. And so I was like, okay, that was actually really well done. The other thing that I thought was really well done was how so we see the incidents of violence happen against her, and essentially we see them their first time they're portrayed, they're not that bad. It's sort of at first
like when he was taking the food out of the oven.
When he takes the food.
Like when I saw that, I was like, oh, like because he burned himself and he recoiled backwards.
And then he hit her in the face, and then he's just really like extremely apologetic.
That's why I was like, oh, this can't turn into worse.
Yeah.
He's super apologetic.
And then they get into a fight because he thinks she's cheating on him. And then
he throws her down the stairs.
Well, but it looks like he accidentally.
Yeah. But in the scene later when they kind of showed it, he pushed her.
So you see them one way, and it was like basically, I think, demonstrating how like survivors feel. The reason why they're like, you can convince yourself, you're like, it really wasn't that bad. It was an accident. But the way that he was so apologetic, you're like, there's something not right here.
Yeah.
And then when you re-see it, so she like clicks in and realizes what's happened, and then you see that he like
Hands
actually
pushed.
hit her, pushed her, you're like, oh wow, it's so interesting how the way you remember something changes that. And I was like, okay, you know what, this movie did actually, because that was part of the intention of the film, supposedly, was to demonstrate
from that side.
Yeah, because if you haven't been through it, sometimes I think it's hard to imagine why someone stays with someone,
right?
Or why someone like makes.
Well, excuses. She even asked her mom. She's like, in that moment of like, they weren't in big conversation, but she's like, "Why'd you stay with dad?"
Yeah,
because it would have been harder to leave him. Which is,
and the only reason is because he died. That's the only reason they ended up.
Yeah, and it was Owen from Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So I thought that it ended up. We've basically ruined the whole film for you. So if you haven't if you haven't watched it, but you found this interesting, we don't do the best retelling of it. So go back and.
I disagree. I think we did a great
but not
job.
Enough to like. You should watch it.
No, you should still see it. But the tea of the tea is where we want to get to.
Yeah. Is there anything? There was a couple of notes that I made. One was that the names were crazy. Lily Blossom Bloom is an insane name to name somebody.
I know, like, people
that she owns a flower shop, guys. Like, it's fucked.
It was meant to be.
No, it was I think Colleen.
If she opened up a car rental spot,
that would have been hilarious. Oh my god, she's like this butch lesbian. Yeah. Lily Blossom Bloom.
Welcome to Lily Blossom Bloom car rental.
And then his name being Ryle Kincaid, like that sounds like a. No, he's not. He's white. Even though he plays like,
even the way they said it,
Ryle.
It's like Ryle.
No, it's Ryle. He's just white. He's like Ariana Grande. He's just dark white. I'm telling you, he tans a lot.
He's like.
Yeah, that was the gag about Jane the Virgin, is that he's playing a Latino and he's not.
Well, that's why Team Michael. But
anyways, but then his name is like a villain. Ryle Kincaid sounds like a villain's name.
Dr. Kincaid as a brain surgeon.
Yeah, neurosurgeon. One of the other things is that they showed that they were both flawed. I liked that because she did lie to him quite a lot.
She did. Like
she
the
lied
moment
quite
you
a
saw
lot.
them Atlas at the restaurant, you should have been like, you already told him the story of Atlas.
Yeah.
So be like, it's
Atlas.
That's
him. Yeah.
Oh my god, hi. Yeah. I've seen you for so long.
No, I'm not by any means saying that like anything.
Oh, nothing he did was work like.
No, nothing she did warranted what he did to her.
Exactly.
But it was just like, it was demonstrating that she wasn't like this perfect, flawless angel. It was sort of like, you know, she's human too. Mm. It felt like an advertisement for therapy. Like, had that guy gone to therapy instead of like basically becoming a neurosurgeon and whatever, like maybe he wouldn't. Because then after.
Why did he tell the story at the beginning that I just lost a kid who did the shooting? Which is him.
So I thought that was his like ploy to sleep with women. So that when his sister was telling the story, that was his like sympathy way of like sleeping with women.
And when he said, "I want to sleep with you," and he goes, she said, "How many like women has this worked on?"
And he said, "All of them." Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, because I was like, whoa. There's no way that exact story happened to him.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then
I didn't think about that.
And that's why I could see, because I thought actually she did a good job of acting that, to see like the sort of change in her face as the sister is telling her that exact story. She's like, this whole relationship was built on him manipulating me.
Yo, I'm in a trance. I'm in a trance. Because I didn't even think about that. See, this is why you think, there's book clubs.
Yeah. This is why.
The podcast is a book club.
And then he's like, oh, well, like after it all happens and they have a daughter, and he's like, oh, I'll get help. Girl,
you should have got help when you were 6.
Yeah. And after you hit her the last time, and after you pushed her down, like, ugh, mess.
This reminded me of another great film about film. Enough. What's have you never seen Enough?
I don't think so.
We'll talk about that another day. Jennifer Lopez, Enough?
No.
Iconic. When sometimes you just have to say enough is enough, and in some cases, I'm not going to ruin it. What happens, happens.
Yeah. Okay.
Enough is enough.
So I only have 2 more points. The other one was, so the story about what happens to him is that basically he killed his brother when he was 6. He shot his brother accidentally with a live gun. His brother's name was Emerson. I thought her naming the baby Emerson was like actually so.
Yeah, I think that was kind of cringe.
That was evil.
Yeah, that was kind of evil.
She was like, "This is your dead brother.
This is your brother." And he's like, "This is the nicest thing anyone has ever done for me. I want a divorce."
It was so. I was like, "Get her, girl. Get her, girl."
It was like, it literally happened like that.
Yeah, yeah.
This is holding the baby. This is the nicest thing anyone's ever done for me.
I want a divorce.
I want a divorce.
Yeah, me, mate. I was like, that was so evil, but like love. Love. And then the last is, so you mentioned it, but like getting back together with your high school boyfriend to me was nauseating. I was like, no,
I
girl.
disagree.
It seemed like she was just going back into the past. Like,
no, but that past
move forward.
No, she did move forward. She opened what she wanted to open. She had the child. She had many. Yeah, I would agree with you if they started dating literally right after.
Right, but years.
But also, years passed.
God, he like never had a girlfriend ever after. He basically pined after her for 40 years.
He just didn't have one at the time.
No, because even when he interviewed for the restaurant thing and he was like, oh, it's named after this girl and I've never really stopped loving her. And Ryle was like,
a love break hotel moment. Like, what if he really did love her whole life?
Maybe he did.
Things like that can happen.
I guess so, but I don't know. Like, that's like, I think that part of why it's like such a popular book is because it like plays into these like tropes of romance novels.
But like that sometimes something that happened in the past.
I guess.
It was a full circle thing.
Yeah.
Some people are meant to be together and things bring you apart. And then unfortunate trauma could potentially bring you back.
I guess I'm just not a romantic like that, because I'm like that stuff to me is like meh.
Anyways,
so that's the recounting of the film. If that didn't keep you interested in it, this will. So the reason that I wanted to watch this movie is because I have been inundated on TikTok with this drama that's been happening between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. So how much do you know about it?
I do know a lot, but like,
so
I'm torn.
Yeah. So if you were paying attention to when the movie was being released and they were doing like media for it and stuff, basically Justin Baldoni was not involved in any of the promotion of the film. Like he was only at the premiere, but he was like never really seen with Blake Lively or the rest of the cast. Like,
and I also hated all of her outfits except for the premiere. But
yeah, her stylist hates her.
Her stylist hates her, and she's a gorgeous woman.
Which is too bad because like
hates her.
The Met Gala, she's done so many beautiful looks. Anyways,
so I don't understand. Whatever, moving forward.
So he wasn't seen in anything, and he almost did 0 interviews for the movie. And you have to keep in mind, he's the director
and one of the leads,
the executive producer, and he owns is a part of the ownership of the production company Wayfarer that produced the film.
And he's in it.
So like if there's one person that should be talking about it besides the lead woman, it should be the lead man. Some people thought, well, he's playing the abuser, so maybe he's not being featured because he doesn't want it to be about him. But there's all this conversation about
so many other movies that have that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're portraying a character. Exactly. You're not the abuser.
Yeah, it was just, but nobody knew why. That was the main thing. Nobody understood what was going on. So they were like, maybe that's why. So for all the press of the film and the film's release and whatever, we just don't know what's going on. Come to like 2 weeks ago, Blake Lively releases a like thing through the New York Times, which is a complaint. So not a lawsuit. Yeah. But it's because it has to go through a certain process. You have to go through a complaint with like a special work board and get approved to be able to then go through a lawsuit, because she's doing it through like a workplace versus like a lawsuit against someone for whatever.
Yeah. And retaliation.
But she released it strategically to the New York Times, the entire document, so that they could publish it and do a whole article, which was basically that like Justin Baldoni was retaliating against her and had hired a crisis PR firm similar to what's his name? Pirates of the Caribbean.
Johnny
Depp hired against Amber Heard.
This is all very that.
It's very that.
It's very that again now.
So he, I guess, hired this crisis PR firm to basically destroy her image, because post the It Ends With Us film, there was a lot of stuff in the media about how Blake Lively was like a mean girl. There was like the video that you may have seen or heard of, where an interview from like 5 or 6 years ago, where she was being interviewed by this journalist from like somewhere in Scandinavia, and she was really rude to her. She was really rude to the
I
interviewer.
believe that she could be a mean girl.
Sure. But like, it turns out that like it was a concerted effort to basically destroy Blake Lively's, like, she maybe
image.
destroy her image. And so her complaint basically documents that this is all in retaliation against something that happened during filming, which was that she was super uncomfortable and complaint, and basically had him and a bunch of other people that were a part of the executive producing whatever, a protection form because they didn't have an intimacy coordinator. He was saying like he was body shaming her. He was like taking things too far in some of their sexual scenes, like all this stuff. And then he claims ostracized her, or she ostracized him during all of this press. And so now he hired this to basically get back at her. So super, super, super messy.
One of the things I read as well is that in the scene where she's giving birth, she said that it was most uncomfortable scene to do because apparently he wanted her to be naked through it because every woman like has a baby fully naked, right?
But she's not even really giving birth.
Yeah.
What does it matter? We're not seeing up her cooch.
They agreed from the legs down. So if you kind of remember that scene,
yeah,
you can't see it, but like it gives the air of that. But like also, I can't imagine you'd be like, you need to be full naked to have a baby.
There's so many pregnancy, like birth scenes where they're covered in in the gown. Why
exactly? So I don't know.
Anyway, so there was lots of stuff like that though, where it was like, apparently he made comments about her weight because he had to pick her up in a couple of the scenes, and he was like, he apparently told her trainer or something that like he needed to help her basically like lose more weight so that he could pick her up.
But there's also like, see, this is why it's like, honestly, unless you're in it, you don't know for sure, right? And so, but then there's also a thing about how, he came into my trailer when I was breastfeeding, but then he has a text message from her saying, come on in, I'm breastfeeding.
Yeah. Well, so this is the piece. So this is what you get into. So Blake Lively releases this complaint and puts it out through the New York Times. A week later, Justin Baldoni puts out a lawsuit. So he's suing her
for defamation.
Her and the New York Times for $250 million. But it's because there's like a bunch of people listed in this lawsuit beyond him.
Right.
So it's like, I think like
to like
25 million per 10 people. So 250. Right. But it's primarily against the New York Times for releasing this.
Right.
Because he
has a lot of red receipts. She had a lot of red receipts, but he also has a lot of red receipts.
So if you haven't gotten into this and if you like drama like this is why this was so juicy. So keep in mind, neither of us have seen the movie at that point, and we're just getting this information. Yeah, I was like,
bombarded.
I need to know what this movie is about.
Yeah.
Because why are these people so messy? Complaint, which will turn into a lawsuit, text messages. I have never seen really.
There's so many
text messages. Where did you get them from?
Yeah.
Because the text messages that Blake Lively had in her complaint were not to her or to anyone on her team. It was they were from Justin Baldoni's PR team and him.
So how'd she get them?
That is the great question. So I think that and based off of the timeline of when we're recording this, I don't think they know, but it sounds like someone from the PR team defected basically to Blake Lively and released all this stuff.
I don't know if it came out super long ago. I think it was the other day, like a voice memo that he has.
Of him?
Yeah. So during the premiere, like he goes through it one time with his wife and I think his family, but then was told that he couldn't be on it, so he's in the basement with his family.
Being held or something. Being held
while everyone else is like on the red carpet. Blake, everyone, Atlas, and Atlas's like real character's girlfriends. Like she's inviting like the girl in and stuff like that. Ryan Reynolds and everything like that. But like, where's the director? Where's the
executive producer?
Where's the lead male?
Yeah.
Right? And so it's tricky.
It's messy.
It's messy because the movie is the topic of the movie is if it was like a Disney film and then it had this, of course it's still bad, but it'd be like two opposites.
Yeah.
But it almost feels like a continuation
of the
film.
Yes, totally. Well, and that was why I was like, that's why I need to watch this, because I'm like, wait, these people play lovers to abuser and victim to whatever. Like to now,
it feels like the divorce that she asked for has gone very wrong.
Very wrong. Well, and so this is why when I think before we started filming, we were talking about how much they made, right? The film made like 300 million.
351 million.
But people are saying that they expected it to make even more. And so part of this...
You know how much that is for a movie like this?
Well, and so, but this is why people are saying...
no Notebook. Like
people are saying because they weren't able to play nice during all this, the press of it actually detracted from people going to see it, because like if they had been a united force or whatever, they would have been able to make a lot more money, because it would have been, people would be more interested.
But it's probably making money now. But like the other thing that I heard is, of course, if you're an actor or if you're a producer, you get to see different cuts, right? And you like different things and things like that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's still a producer, the director's choices. Yeah. And apparently Blake was like...
had her own cut of the movie.
She's like, this is the cut, and this is the cut that's going in.
Yeah.
And...
there's so many details on this stuff. Yeah, that was one of the ones that I found crazy. Also that like, so, and this is a bit twisted. So, you know, she plays the victim in this, and he plays the abuser. And as the actor, he, I guess, really wanted the press tour to be about like domestic violence and like the experience of that.
You see the poster, you're like, it's about flowers.
It's about flowers.
It's about flowers. It's about a flower shop.
And it was that Blake Lively was really against making it. She really wanted it to be like, it's about the resilience of a woman. And it's like, yes, it is. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's about the message is about, you know, someone violence. Being able to be resilient against the whatever. And so
the cycle of it happening from your mother to yourself to
preventing it and so not staying with this person even though you think they're going to change, so that your daughter will not have to see that. And so it's interesting how many messy pieces, like he apparently donated like 2% of the proceeds to a domestic violence organization, but like they also didn't make as much money as they thought they were going to.
How much money did they think they were going to make? $351 million for a movie of this?
Like... How much did it cost? Because that's usually the question.
Well, like that up. Like Wicked didn't even cost. No, you know what I mean? So true. They had a flower shop and a condo. Like
how many things could this possibly be? How much could
it really cost? You know,
ends with us.
And so, and it's interesting because not every movie says the name of the movie in the movie. And so when she said, you know, looked at her daughter and like it ends with us. It doesn't end with us because it's with all of us now. It's with all of us now, right? So
so. You're right. It only cost $25 million to make.
Thank you.
So, but this is the thing.
351 million off of making costing 25. That is a profit of like.
Yeah, tons and tons and tons.
100%.
Yeah, but I guess people.
How much more did they think they were making? Honeybee, it's Blake Lively. Let's be honest.
I mean, I hear you, and that's why it's like sort of shocking that's
and Raphael.
Well, basically. Because it didn't actually get that great of reviews. Like,
as I saw it yesterday on Rotten Tomatoes, I think it was like 85% for viewers, and I think it was like 50 something for critics.
Yeah, and so there's like this messy piece of like how much of this is around business. Because also, I bet you, like you and I was never going to watch this movie. I had no interest in seeing it when I knew what it was about.
I didn't even know what it was about.
And then this drama made me be like, okay, I'll watch it. So I bet you its streaming numbers are up crazy.
I think its streaming numbers are high.
Because I want to know what all the hubla is about.
Exactly.
Hoopla.
But I am glad I watched the movie because I think it is an important message. I think that like, especially when females need to rise up and figure out a way, I always appreciate that. That's why I'm talking about Enough, the movie. Those who've seen it know what I'm talking about. But it's sad that all of this and again, I don't know who's right, who's wrong. Yeah. We're not there.
Because it's like equally messy.
It's equally messy. And I think that it's sad because it's dampening the message that is important in this film.
Well, and so this is the thing, like
maybe I'll read the book.
I don't want to make too much of a judgment call on all of this, but like it's also, it adds a complication of like Blake Lively having a reputation of potentially being a mean girl before this. And also Justin Baldoni has really done a lot of work to try to like make his personal image be like, I'm a feminist. He has this podcast called like Man Enough or something.
Oh.
And it's all about like, which
all
to
prior
me
to this film?
Yeah, prior to this film, which to me has always been a red flag, is when men who have podcasts about for men, like male embetterment, like to improve yourself. His was through the angle of like feminism. He's like how to make men more sensitive to like, you know, minorities and women and whatever. And if you watch it, there's some really like powerful clips that have come up from people that he's interviewed. But the way that he portrays himself, I'm like, something is not right. This smells fishy. And so I guess his podcast,
I guess we're going to have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah. And his podcast, like co-host is this woman. She quit the podcast because of it.
Well,
his downfall is happening. Agent. Yeah. Cause I think, the thing that we haven't really gotten into that much is that like there was, and I think it's pretty certain that like there was some abuse on set, like some violating things, like maybe not to the extent of what his character does, but stuff that like if you know it, like it's actually kind of wild that Blake like continued filming the movie. I guess she was like that invested or whatever, but like based off of some of the stuff, it's like, girl.
I'll tell you one thing.
And Ryan Reynolds like ripped him a new one, apparently.
I could believe it, but they said they came to act in this film.
And they acted. Yeah.
I would have never known. Sometimes you can pick up on like the chemistry is just not there.
Yeah.
When he was taking off her shoes, I said, oh,
I feel it.
Oh.
So if you want to have the same experience that Tash and I did, listen to all this drama. And then watch the movie and try to
then comment.
Yeah, and try to remind yourself that like, what? Because I watched the first 10 minutes and was like, I can't get into this because I know that they fucking hate each other. And then you watched it and I was like, okay, fine, I'll watch it.
No,
and now we're doing it this.
Literally, I audibly went like, Seriously. What are you doing in the washroom?
I don't know. Nothing. Oh my gosh, with Atlas. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, man. So that was our episode.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. I liked it.
Yes. Very important.
So, as always, follow along in all the places, social media, URDONE the podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're listening to us on YouTube or watching us on YouTube, and we'll see you next week.
Ciao now.
Bye.
It doesn't end with us, though.
No.
Okay. We have another episode. Bye.